Warm welcome to my front garden and nature strip. My name's Paula. I've been a local resident of Wyndham almost for the past 16, 17 years. Passionate about gardening, passionate about wildlife and preserving our ecosystems. Often nature strips are one of the best places to start to do your habitat transformation. It's an area that you don't necessarily need to look after too much. My nature strip doesn't get any water. It provides habitat for a range of wildlife, and simply by using a couple of different species, you have an instant habitat. Bringing biodiversity back into the garden is important for a number of reasons. One of them is obviously creating habitat and protecting our species, especially our pollinators, our very small, tiny native butterflies, native bees, the very teeny tiny little spiders that feed on them. There is also an opportunity to nurture a bit more of the natural ecology that occurred in this place. And with nature strips, it's an easy way to do it without having to spend a lot of money on them as well. Ultimately, most people, including myself, have always been conditioned to think that lawns are what you need, whether in your garden or on the nature strips. However, there are some wonderful alternatives. You can use plants like salt bushes. There's lots of low-growing ground covers. There's lots of the wildflowers, a lot of our native grasses that look fabulous. So when you're creating your nature strip, you only need 3 or 4 wildflower species and maybe 3 to 4 grass species. Using the grasses is fantastic for our native butterflies. They lay their eggs on the native grasses and then you'll end up with the most beautiful native butterflies. When you're comparing costs of creating a native habitat garden, the price of installing synthetic turf is way higher. With your Indigenous gardens, you can get them from your suppliers as tube stocks for as little as $2.50. And once they're in and you've ordered them in and you've done just the initial upkeep of them, which is very minimal, they will look after themselves. So your costs are much lower, not only just from the initial phase, but also the extended life of these plants. Nature strips can be more than just a boring region of your garden. They can certainly be much more than that. They can be another place that provides refuge for our, native wildlife.